Vandal aside, one of the greatest threats to the Stanton system is a much more homegrown threat. One that we're going to explore right now. Considering their numbers, ability and tactics, we know only very few details about XenoThreat as an operation. News media likes to report that the advocacy believe XenoThreat to be hardline former UEE service personnel, but no official sources are cited to confirm this. Further rumours suggest that the gang use former military contacts to repair their fleet and recruit servicemen to their cause. What we do know officially is that the advocacy files as early as 2944 have XenoThreat listed as the controlling faction of Pyro's ruined station, and that they are categorised as an extremist outlaw group. Maintaining control of ruined station for such a long time is no small feat, as whichever gang controls the station essentially controls Pyro. But it's a constant struggle to maintain power in the system, with every gang fancying themselves as controllers and wanting to utilise ruined station's processing and growing facilities. XenoThreat aren't just a well-organised gang like the Ninetales though. They are well trained and pose a credible threat in both martial and technological arenas, with access to an impressive armoury and cyber warfare suite. Even their rank and file members have had to deal with a decade of combat within Pyro itself. Reports from Terror and Stanton in the latter half of 2949 indicate that XenoThreat raids began on a small scale. Whereas we have no way of knowing if XenoThreat were behind earlier actions, this is where they began stamping their mark outside of their home system. This was just the beginning, however, and the group would soon make their intentions perfectly clear. In 2950, people began reporting garbled messages at Port Olisar's ASOP terminals, where only the words "people of Stanton" could be understood clearly. This, of course, would rattle concerned travellers, believing it to be some sort of Vandal threat. In reality, though, it couldn't have been further from the Vandal, and XenoThreat would deliver the full message across the Stanton system in February 2951. That message, including video, sprang up on billboards in major landing zones for the commander of the faction to deliver their manifesto via the illegal broadcast. Their abject hatred of what the UEE had become, a pawn of alien races and big corporations, the group's statement of intent was not to be ignored. With UEE naval intelligence confirming the threat was credible, the Navy's flagship, the UEES Warhammer, was deployed. Unfortunately, XenoThreat clearly anticipated the Javelin-class destroyer being mobilised as supply ships bound for the Warhammer's dock at INS Jericho were attacked and destroyed. With the Navy hamstrung, Advocacy Special Agent in charge Rowena Dooley put out the call for civilian Defence Force contractors to assist in recovering the supplies and defending further shipments. Over a week of battles between XenoThreat and the combined forces of the Navy, Advocacy and CDF resulted in XenoThreat being pushed back into Pyro, despite them fielding capital-class ships. The pilots of the CDF were praised for their pivotal role in stepping up to the well-organised group and helping deliver the needed supplies to Jericho. Far from having their tails between their legs, though, the hateful paramilitaries would repeatedly assault Stanton for the next few years, and although praiseworthy, the crucial part the CDF played in the defence of the system was also the target of criticism. Parker Terrell, host of the Plain Truth Show, was quick to point out that the CDF should not need to be mobilised, and that the 4 megacorps that gain substantially from operating in Stanton should increase their security, especially with the frequency of the attacks by XenoThreat since the first illegal broadcast. Despite the numerous pushbacks over the years, XenoThreat were far from done, and were about to take things to the next level. Early in 2954, intelligence suggested that a much more insidious approach by XenoThreat was being undertaken in Stanton. Civilian contractors were once again asked to answer the call. Terrorist cells had been located in corporate underground facilities, and the CDF's task was to eliminate those cells and retrieve any intelligence. With the data obtained from the bunkers found to be heavily encrypted, hunter groups would then need to track down and eliminate ranking XenoThreat members to obtain their decryption keys. Like a tactical jigsaw puzzle, the more that the CDF chased down leads, the bigger the picture came together of just how entrenched XenoThreat were in Stanton. From the underground facilities to vast hammerhead-supported fleets hiding in asteroid belts to hijacked comm arrays. And then, like the eye of a storm being the calmest part, all of the organisation's activities ceased. Rowena Dooley, suspecting that another capital-class assault was lurking beyond the Stanton Pyro jump gate, tasked the CDF with restocking the nearby station. Almost as if to make their statement more clear, during the annual First Contact celebration, Dooley's suspicions would be confirmed. 2954 Alien Week saw XenoThreat strike teams emerge from the Pyro jump gate to once again scupper UEE supply vessels. With the CDF distracted protecting volatile supplies, an Idris-class frigate would emerge from the gate with its own support fleet. Seizing the opportunity to take cheap shots at the unprepared UEE Javelin docked at the nearby station, XenoThreat brought their full power to bear once again. Stretched thin, but as resilient as ever, the CDF volunteers secured all of the cargo from the stricken UEE ships and pushed back once again. With a large number of mercenaries realising the folly of taking on an Idris, they decided to use low-profile vessels to get close enough to board the ship, making the fight one of naval skill and small arms aboard the capital frigate. XenoThreat were again outmatched and defeated. But this isn't the end of the XenoThreat story. The battle with XenoThreat is far from over. And if you've made it this far in the video, thank you very much for your attention. I'm hopeful that come our entry into Pyro with 4.0, we'll get many more opportunities to encounter XenoThreat and uncover more of their story. If you enjoyed this video, please do subscribe for more lore, guides, first looks and bug workarounds. If you have any feedback on the format or content of the video, love to hear it in the comments section. So until the next one, fly safe, citizens.